Hello and welcome everybody to Integrate Power or Virtual Agents in Microsoft Teams. We're going to be hearing from Michael today. And if you have any questions, please, unless it's extremely urgent, wait towards the end. We'll have some Q&A time and would love to hear from all of you. And without further ado, Michael, take it away.
Thank you very much. And welcome to my session. As mentioned before, I will talk about the Power Virtual Agents and how to integrate them in Microsoft Teams, and maybe I try to explain some use cases for them, why it maybe makes sense to use them and how to do it. And because I don't like this pretty straightforward topic to just show in PowerPoints, I will do a live demo for this topic at the end in a couple of slides. I know it's the last session for today. I hope you are still with me and give me some interesting questions. Otherwise, I think I maybe answered this before. So just give me a feedback, and I'm looking forward to hear from you. The first of all is, who am I? So I am Michael Plettner from Germany, near to Munich, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of a small company named Into Success. This company is focusing on Teams projects combined with change management and project management. So we are focusing on the technology, but also on the project management. An Office MVP, Office Apps and Services, is the long term, which means basically I'm an MVP for Teams in my case, in my particular case. That also means I'm not an MVP for Power Platforms or anything which is basically mainly related to Power Virtual Agents. But I've used it, and that's why I've created this session, because I had some mind-blowing scenarios, and I like to share it here. I'm also a German Teams user group leads, running an adoption and change forum. So I have multiple aspects when I talk about the Power Virtual Agents, short-term PVA. So I would try to use it a bit more. And I'm also running a video and audio podcast, unfortunately in German, with Talk Microsoft 365. So if you understand German, so come and join me. Just search for Talk Microsoft 365. Okay, you can find me on LinkedIn. I think it's really common today, and on Twitter. Happy to connect with you. And now let's go into the session. As mentioned before, I'm not an MVP for this particular topic, but I have some ideas how this PVA could look like. And that was basically this. This is a pretty complex scenario. This is a pretty complex input-output dependency scenario where I thought, oh my goodness, when a PVA starts to challenging me with these topics, with different channels, different, inputs, APIs, SDKs, I will stop to use it right away. Okay, this is a picture from a bot connector service. So this is for a traditional bot when you create a new one. And I thought, okay, if it's just an overlay for this, I'm out. And that's nothing for me. But what is PVA? Basically, we do have an easy way to create a bot. And we do have two different ways, to be honest. The first one is we can create a PVA in Teams. That's what I show you today for internal bots and easy access. The other one is we can create PVA on a bigger approach, which is in kind of a web app, to integrate it into a website, to create a bot answering some questions, maybe on your intranet or even on your internet website or support website. This is something which is more complex, and also it allows you to combine the complexity, the functionality of a traditional bot and bring it to with an easy entry point to bring it to more complex scenarios. So that was the first impression from my side, from me. The next one is, if I do have two different scenarios where I can use PVA, I do have, of course, because it's Microsoft, two different licenses, two different kinds of licenses. The first one is with Microsoft 365, integrated license, which allows us to use it in Teams. And the other one is a standalone license. And this license, a standalone license, gives us more features. If we go into some more details in this short table here. But it also comes with its own costs, which are a couple of €100 or pounds. So you can imagine this is nothing you can just roll out for the whole company, and don't even allow different users who are not experienced with this to work in it. Okay, so the first difference here is to create a bot from a channel is allowed in both licenses, but with the Microsoft 365 subscription, you are just allowed to use it in Teams. So it's allowed on Teams only. On the other hand, with a bigger license, you can add it afterwards to a specific channel, specific team, but you can use it for other scenarios as well. The next ones are the connectors you can use. In the Microsoft 365 subscription, they're just the standard connectors. With a bigger license, you're allowed to use the premium connectors as well. The web security is obviously not needed and not supported for the Teams integration because it's directly integrated in Teams. You have already an authentication. So you do have a relationship to this specific team and this channel. Because it's a kind of web app, it's able to use a secret for the bigger license, for the bigger scenario. And the last but not least point is to use an Azure bot framework skill or multiple skills. It's not allowed and not possible to use it in a Microsoft 365 subscription. Of course, in a bigger license, you can use it and use all these maybe previously created framework skills. Okay. The next one is the use cases. Why should I maybe use PVA? Does it make sense to use PVA? And in which scenario does it make sense? The first of all and best point for me is you can create a bot without using any programming experience. And you will understand in a couple of minutes because I will show you the easiness of creation of a bot. The creation of a bot. The next one is you can use the PVA capabilities, the easiness, to create a bot which helps you to enforce some specific workflows. So, for example, you can use it to create a bot for lifecycle purposes. You can create a bot for governance purposes and policies, where a user can just request, for example, a team, and you can create this team, but with your own rules, with your own configuration, without any other independent inputs from the users, just with the information. Here we go, create me a team, name it like whatever the name is. On the other hand, you can give it some experienced or advanced users to allow the bots to be created in a department. That means if you have some users which are very IT enthusiastic, then you maybe can use this PVA to allow the users to create their own bots, maybe in an HR department or in a marketing department. They can create a bot and share it in a team, in multiple teams. So it's so easy they can use it actually right away. And with these capabilities, these departments can support IT pretty good, because IT usually is the one department which is able to do some IT stuff. You know, the users are just thinking, oh, it's so complex and it's so annoying to contact the IT department again, open a ticket, talk with some technical guys, and yeah, the users are very happy to get a direct contact, which is helping with a difficult part, but they can do the most of the things on their own. So they are pretty good in doing their own stuff. This PVA, you have some general principles to follow. They're so easy. The first one is create a bot. So you go for the creation. The next one is advanced creation, which is basically not for the first bot creation, but for the second, the third, the fourth bot, because then you use some more advanced settings. Publish the bot, obviously, otherwise the user cannot use it. Analyze the usage. This is pretty important to see what I configured, does it match with the users they use the bot actually. If I think about the process and I implement a bot related to my process, it maybe does not fit with the user expectation. But I have to analyze it again and again and see, does it make sense? Does it don't make sense? And last but not least, the adjustment. So just go ahead and configure, adjust your bot if needed. If you see it's not running, it's not working as expected. So just adjust it and maybe go back to the creation process. Maybe think about using another approach for the bot. That's it for the theoretical stuff. Now let's jump into the demo. Here we are. Okay. Good. This is a regular tenant. It's actually a demo tenant I use for some tests here. And I've created a team which is empty. And now the first point to start is I'm looking for a personal app. I'm looking for an app for virtual agents. And yes, I've prepared something. If everything goes wrong, I can at least show you something. Okay, so now let's add this this personal app here. And you see Microsoft is already mentioning you can create a bot in 5 minutes and no code. Okay, I take the challenge. I can promise you I will not create the bot within 5 minutes because I will explain a bit more. But if you are experienced with this, you just can go ahead and run this bot or create this bot pretty fast. Okay, so we would like to start to create a bot. The first of all is I would like to know in which team, and you get a warning here. It is the first person or the first, I am the first person to create a bot. It takes a little while. Let's go for this. This little while is around about a minute or 30 seconds. Basically, in the backend, Teams is connecting with the PVA backend or with the bot backend. The PVA is basically the app, and this will be installed on my team. Here it goes. I haven't got an email. I've got an email, but I also got a notification in Teams. And I start with the new bot. I would like to give it a name, Comsverse. Let me keep it in English. I think it's just US. Yes, it's just US. Okay, let's create a bot. And now we are done. No, not yet, not yet. But this is the idea. I just create the bot and fill it with some logical parts. And you have different points for this logical parts. I don't want to explore it right now. Okay, the first one is you do have a test area here in the middle or on the left side. I will close it because it's better to see the rest here. On the home screen, on the welcome screen, you just get some quick tips where to go for the next step. And let's go for, was not ready, fully ready. Here it is. Okay, let's go for the topics. These topics are our conversation structure, our conversation idea, where you can start with PVA. You do have, oh, sorry, just misclicked. You do have different types. You have the always on topics, and you have the user-based, your own topics. You can see some explanations here. You can disable them or you can use them, but you still have some always on topics. And these topics can be used, can be addressed with some welcome words or within the flow of your bots. And I will explain it in a couple of seconds. Let's start with a new topic. We start with the topic as welcome to Comsverse. And now let's go for the trigger phrases. The trigger phrases are basically these words you type to trigger the right conversation. To trigger the following workflow, the following steps. In our case, welcome to Comsverse. And here it starts to be a bit tricky because it's case sensitive and you have to make a guess which input the users will give you to trigger your bot. So once again, analyze your bot and see, does it work, does it not work? And see, does it make sense to use these trigger phrases? So for my case, I have to put this here and welcome to Comsverse. Just to ensure if I type this, I catch everything maybe a user can type. And even if I type this here, it maybe makes sense. You can put up here a ton. On the previous page, you have seen there was something with 52 on the default. So it's not limited, actually. If you define the trigger phrase, you can go for your canvas. And your canvas is the point where it was getting so easy for me, because this overview looks so much like Flow or Power Automate. And if you have ever created a flow, you find it here pretty similar and pretty easy to use. The first of all is, after a trigger phrase, I would like to welcome the users. So just give it text here. You can use any message. It's open to you. You can even delete this default message. And then I would like to create a question, or ask a question, sorry. How was your day? And give multiple options. These options are the default settings. You can use some entities. Entities are some specific descriptions, some specific options you can choose from with a specific design. For example, these are all the default settings. Like you expect the answer is something like an age or a Boolean value. It's date and time, email. All these different types are available out of the box. Default answer is you just ask a question and get multiple answers. Okay, good. I would like to add another one. Brilliant. And amazing. Okay, and you see, just try to fit the right scale here. I got the 3 different conditions. So I can use 3 different, I can work with these different answers and describe what's going on, what is the point, what will happen after that. I will remain this variable to ensure this is visible also when I do a bit more complex scenarios here. And let me try to make it a bit bigger. Okay, this one. And afterwards, you can go for the next step. And you can continue with asking questions. You can go for sending a message. You can call an action. And this action is basically a traditional Power Automate flow. So if you are familiar with creating Power Automate flows, you can add them here. But you cannot use existing ones. So you have to recreate them. And you have to do it right out these boards because they are kind of hidden. They are not in your standard default overview of flows, and they are connected to this bot. So if you create a new one, once again, it's a pretty straightforward process. Let me go for it to save here. Yes, it's saved, and call an action, create a flow. I'm still in Teams, right? It's still the same interface. It's still using Teams with Power Virtual Agents with Power Automate. I go for this one, which is coming from the bot, the PBA created bot, with or without an input, and with a return value or without any return value. So it's pre-configured to allow us, add an action. Let's go for Teams and create a team, for example.
Just a second, Michael, I believe we have a quick question.
Okay. Just go ahead.
Thanks. Could you have your bot flow put a message into another channel where you'd already created a flow, for example? So you could have it trigger another flow?
Not as you expected.
Right.
If you do it in this separate flow, you can, of course, do it, but the bot will answer in the channel where the bot is running. You have to create a workaround to extract another answer.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Oh. Okay. I would leave it like this just to ensure it's straightforward, and I hope I saved it, or it is saved. Of course not. Just go ahead. Add an action. Teams. Okay. Now it's saved, and now it's available under actions. Because I haven't renamed the flow, you can see that it's just a default entry here. And that's pretty straightforward, right? That's nothing special. The interesting part was, for me, I was able to combine and create my flows, my bot on a very easy way, create some connections, even create some links to other topics to bring maybe another dialogue up here. Maybe just go over here, and you can build your complex bot on a very easy way. You can add additional steps, ask another question, and you see the logical way how it works, how it's connected to each other. And rename it here. What's up? You can see the different connections, and you can rearrange them if needed. You can even delete or give more options to the different points, because a question is maybe too easy and maybe not, as mentioned before, the right question, or getting the questions here by just using good, brilliant, whatever. Users may be typing in something different. You can add some acronyms, sorry, some synonyms, whatever. And it will work as well. You can add synonyms here. You can add other trigger phrases. And now let's go for a test. Oh yeah. Welcome to Comsverse. Yes, I've missed the E, just to show the case sensitivity. You can see the different stages where the flow is, the PVA is currently running. Just go for OK. Sorry, I answered it. Was not one of these options, but I created a synonym, so it will jump into good. good is connected to this flow, and this flow created a new team because I just give it a simple name, no other input is required, and ask a question. Yes, it answers my question. I got this redirect to another topic here, and this topic includes some questions, some ratings, and no thanks, I'm done. In the other topic, I've created some exit routes as well. So this is basically running. Okay. And under the point entities, you can see the different entities. These are the default, the pre-built ones. You can create new ones with a closed list, all regular expressions. If you're familiar with this, I guess you are. And see under analytics, how good, how bad was it? It's a Power BI report. Of course, it's not published because I just run the test. You don't get any information here. The next step will be publishing the bot. You get two different options. You can publish the bot on a team directly, or you can allow the whole company to use your bot. And I will show you this general availability. In our case, I would like to make this bot available to others. This is something you can customize, but I would like to bring it in the whole company. So let me send an admin approval or request an admin approval. Submit. Can change it a bit. Give it a PVA Comsverse. It's short description. There's the button. Yes, let me submit it here. And go. Still publishing or sending it. And you can find it under Teams apps in Manage Apps. You can see here's one new submitted custom app. So let's go for Comsverse. Because it's not allowed already, it's just submitted, it's blocked, and then admin has to accept or even reject. So let me publish this bot. And because it takes quite some time, I did it already, and you can see it here. There's another stage under apps built for your organization, and you can see it here on top of it, where the bot is available. I can add this bot. I have this bot installed here instead of using it in a team. I go for this one, my chatbots. I can publish this Comsverse on a team, so it will be there as well. Publish. That's it for my demo part here. It's just pushing it into Teams. Good. Any questions?
If anybody on the online meeting has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. I can unmute you if you'd like. Anybody in the room? No? I think that was an excellent presentation, Michael. Thank you very much. If the people in the Teams meeting If we could all give Michael a round of applause. Excellent. We have one last.